Let's start. On the first Monday of this year, I introduced the book, The Go Giver, by Bob Burg and John David Mann. And the authors argue that you should make giving rather than getting your first priority in business and in life, and success will follow. The Go Giver is presented as a little story about a powerful business idea, but as Pindar, the successful businessman, told Joe, a sound business principle will apply anywhere in life. And of course, sound life principles apply to business. Now, Pindar willingly agrees to teach Joe his trade secret, the 5 laws for stratospheric success, and teach over a number of days. But he has one condition. You must apply each law right away, the same day you first learn it, or meetings will come to an end. And that's the thing you know about successful people. It's not because they're smarter or anything, they apply what they learn and they spend their whole life applying what they learn. So I'm going to ask you to commit to apply each law right away, the same day you first learn it. Okay, in the last 6 weeks, we looked at the first 4 laws for stratospheric success. The law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. The second law, the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. The third law, the law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. The fourth law, the law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And today we will look at law number 5, the law of receptivity. This law says the key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. One of the greatest misunderstandings about being a go-giver is the thought that you should always be giving and you should never take. How often have you shrugged off a compliment? Oh, this old shirt, I've had it for years. The Chinese are famous, nali, nali. Why don't we just say, thank you? If we can't accept a simple compliment, imagine what else we're not accepting. If you're in sales, are you unknowingly rejecting when someone wants to give you their business? Could you be sabotaging the sales process for some reason? Do you think, I won't get the business anyway, so let me get to know quickly? Then there is this saying, it is better to give than to receive. It is better to give than to receive. This suggests that receiving is the second best option. So the law of receptivity, although we think that we like to receive, the law of receptivity might be the most challenging of the go-givers' 5 laws of stratospheric success. In the book, Pindar carries out an experiment with Joe. He says, I want you to try something for me. I'm going to count to 30. And while I count, I want you to slowly exhale. That's all. Exhale and don't stop. Now breathe in and go. By the time Pindar had reached 9, Joe was hunching forward and turning a bit pale. At 12, he straightened up and abruptly drew in a big gasping breath. Couldn't get to 30? You can't just breathe out. You've got to breathe in as well. You won't survive if you're only able to exhale or only able to inhale. You must exhale and inhale to stay alive. You've got to do both. So breathing out is like giving, breathing in is receiving. Giving and receiving are simply 2 sides of the same coin. Works best in tandem. So the key goes back to focus. Focus on giving and allow the receiving. So long as you're focused on giving value to others, you've earned the right to receive. Okay, not the entitlement to receive, but the right to receive. So for us in sales, please know that it's okay to get paid and get paid handsomely for the value you bring and the problems you solve. Now let's go back to the saying, it is better to give than to receive. Well, I believe it is actually better to give than receive. There is a flip side to that coin. Okay, if there are no receivers, there can be no givers. All the giving in the world won't bring you success, won't create the results you want, unless you also make yourself willing and able to receive in like measure. Because if you don't let yourself receive, you're refusing the gifts of others and you shut down the flow. More than shutting down the flow, when you don't receive, you actually stop being a giver. I feel that especially as a parent, and you parents, you may identify with me. I want to give the best to my children, give advice, give them life back, even give them a lift somewhere. But when they refuse to receive, I feel hurt, rejected, unfulfilled. Their very act of receiving is actually a huge gift to me. You've watched the Nourish the Children videos where the children excitedly receive the Vitamil bag. And when the children say, thank you, thank you, thank you, their joyful receiving is a far better gift to you as a human being than the $40 donation you made. Now let's try to understand why people have trouble with receiving. Okay, I found this article from Harvard Business Review, and it says this. Okay, it's a work article called "How to Get the Help You Need." It says few of us enjoy asking for help. As research in neuroscience and psychology shows, the social threats involved, the uncertainty, the risk of rejection, potential for diminished status, and inherent relinquishing of autonomy activate the same brain regions that physical pain does. And in the workplace, when you're typically keen to demonstrate as much expertise, competence, and confidence as possible, it can feel particularly uncomfortable to make such requests. However, it's virtually impossible to advance in modern organizations without assistance from others. Melissa West from Extreme Results in her website says, there's one more important point I want to make about the law of receptivity. Since the law of receptivity is about effectively staying open to receive so that you can give more, that means by leaving yourself open, you also open yourself to not only success and greatness, but also to setbacks and disappointment. This is probably the most challenging thing when it comes to being receptive. It means you allow yourself to be vulnerable. For many, being vulnerable is the last thing on earth they want to do. So yes, it takes courage to embrace the unexpected, the unknown, and to take a risk by putting yourself out there. When you put yourself out there to welcome and receive true greatness, you also put yourself out there to receive a no, rejection, a broken heart, or a less than ideal outcome. It can be easy for us to shut down the flow, put walls up, and guard and protect ourselves. But again, then it's only us who's missing out on receiving anything else into our lives. Once again, we have shut off the flow. So be aware of when you are closing yourself off unconsciously. We have been programmed to block and protect ourselves from adversity. However, then we also block and protect ourselves from feeling love and gratitude. What a shame to miss out on feeling those. There is more value in you opening yourself up than you shutting down the flow and building walls around you. Okay, so we're talking about why people have difficulty receiving. Finally, I want to quote from a poem by Marianne Williamson. And those of you who've been to Asia Works, you may be familiar with this poem. And this is what she says. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Okay, I will stop here this week. Next week, I will introduce a sub-law within the greater law of receptivity. This is called the law of left field, and it says that the greatest gifts will come to you at moments and from places you least expect. I'm going to suggest one action item for you. Okay. A great way to exercise receiving is through gratitude and appreciation. Count your blessings. Burg says that sitting quietly at the end of a busy day and practicing heartfelt appreciation is an act of voluntary receptivity. It's a way to thankfully accept what you have already received and or what you hope to receive. And this invokes the law of receptivity. My challenge to you is to take at least 5 to 10 minutes every night this week to count your blessings and express gratitude and appreciation for all the wonderful things you have received in your life. Okay, remember the condition at the start. Go and apply the law of receptivity this way or your own way before midnight tonight. Tomorrow is Tuesday Tips by Hui Xuan. It promises to be very powerful and useful for us to take some effective action.